Welcome to another edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Maricas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin. And Coach, tough game on Saturday up in Long Island. First of two straight games in Long Island against Stony Brook on Saturday, a game you lost 13-12, as Stony Brook scored very late in the game to take the lead and win it. For you guys, it was, from a fan standpoint, it was a very entertaining game to watch because it was tight throughout. Back and forth, back and forth. Down on the field, did you sense that evenness between the two teams, or did you think at some point maybe we would pull away? What were you thinking during the course of the game?
Yeah, I felt like we certainly had opportunities to pull away. We had more possessions. We earned more possessions with them, things that we focused on in the week leading up to it, like really riding them and then riding them well. And we earned, I think, at least 6 possessions back off of our ride, giving us more opportunities there offensively. Facing off, Matt got his groove in the second half and did really well there.
Yeah, what was the difference with him? In the first half, it was kind of even, Steven. Then the second half, he started to dominate. What was
he
the
just settled
change?
down. I think he just settled down, figured out Conlon a little bit better. Recognize it. Conlon's good, and if he gets a jump on the whistle, he's strong. So Matt was just staying a little bit more poised, and just knew how to. Conlon's a little bit more regimented in what he's doing. Matt can be a little bit more diverse, and was able to kind of just tweak his skill set a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, there was times where I felt like we could get a couple, and then kind of build from there. But they did a good job and not letting us get too far ahead, and staying obviously within striking distance.
So the Tigers falling in that one, and again we see another great performance from a freshman, Ryan Shire, with 3 goals in the game. I know there's probably a couple of shots he'd like to have back because he had some opportunities, and it seemed like the whole team had opportunities, but they were not able to get it past McLaughlin. Was it more him, or was it more shot selection?
A little bit of both. I mean, he played well. He made some pretty nice saves. Ryan had a really nice one towards the end of regulation that he makes. He kind of puts Lone away and he makes a save, but then Ryan rides the ball back and knocks a guy out of bounds at midfield. And again, just a lot of poise and just being able to stay in the moment for Ryan Schreier to, miss a tough one on the crease, hands free, and then, stay engaged and ride it back there. So, with our shots, we were getting good looks. Probably took a couple that, we shouldn't have maybe rushed. We rushed a few shots there. So it was a frustrating, these are the types of games that you really bang your head against the wall on, when you lose them. These are the tougher ones to lose when you, the way the game was being played, I felt like we had more advantages, statistically, at the end of the game, we definitely had more advantages from possession time and shots and opportunities there. And you just don't, we just didn't play well enough to make it happen. They did a better job than us in the half field sets, and kind of outperformed us there. We did a better job in the middle of the field and, kind of scramble situations. And at the end of the day, it's how many you put on the scoreboard, unfortunately. And, their goalie, did a really good job. He made a bunch of saves, and, we need to do a better job on our back end.
You've had 3 of those games now this year, the Loyola game, the Drexel game, and the Stony Brook game. Is it a matter of maybe just getting one of those close wins to get you over the hump, or just overall got to play better?
Yes, is the answer to both of those. I think obviously playing better, recognizing, and it's not just at the end of the game, obviously the decision-making and execution at the end of the game.
Things get magnified.
It's magnified, no doubt. But it's the plays leading up to that where, like we talked about, it's like, could we have built a nice 3-4 goal lead and cushion, if we're playing better, playing sharper, shooting the ball better, playing better defense, because we didn't have to play as much defense. We were getting more opportunities. So, we should be fresh, and, we knew they'd be pressing, but we just needed to be that much sharper there. But then also offensively, knowing that we had more opportunities to really capitalize and just build out, that lead, that cushion, that's obviously going to put us in better position towards the back end of the game, knowing that they're going to have to really press, and then hopefully we do what we need to do there. So yeah, I think, earning one is going to give us that confidence, but we have to play better to do that.
Well, hopefully you'll have a chance to see them again.
Yeah.
Now, you go to Stony Brook, way up the island. Now you don't have to go as far up the island to take on
Nassau
Hofstra.
County. Nassau County. We're in
Correct.
Suffolk County.
That's
You know,
right.
we're switching counties here.
Hofstra this week, a team that's coming off a victory against Monmouth. They had been in a 4-game losing streak prior to beating Monmouth this past Saturday. So they're going to come into this game with a little bit of confidence that they probably wouldn't have had you played them last week.
Yeah, they're playing good lacrosse. They're playing some tough teams. They played Delaware. They played Syracuse. Before they lost a 1-goal game to Fairfield and then able to win one against Monmouth. So, and that was on the road at Monmouth. Monmouth is a pretty stingy team. They face off well. Stony Brook was in a dogfight with them until late in the fourth quarter as well. So to see what Hofstra did in that game, and that was, with the weather on Saturday being, pretty brutal up the East Coast everywhere, they were playing in a deluge at points. Their goalie played well. Offensively, they know what they want to do and how to do it, and they're a pretty strong team.
Chase Patterson, their face-off man, winning about 58%. So Matt Constantinidis will have his hands full once again this week.
Yeah, he's good. He's probably one of the most balanced guys that we've seen so far in the CAA as far as knowing what to do at the X, whether it be winning it or countering, as well as being athletic. So Matt's definitely going to have to continue to prepare well, continue to stay true to who he is. And we need to obviously work as a unit to make, those possessions go our way.
Now, there's still plenty of games after this Saturday, and your guys, they can see the standings. We can all see the standings. This, for both teams, really is a very, very, very important, almost like a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, we can't look at anything down the road at this point. We haven't been able to do that, and nor should we do that. We have to look at what's in front of us, understand, who we're preparing for, and that's Hofstra. So get on the practice field, put our best focus and effort into being better in practice, because honestly, we just haven't played consistently well. And that's our biggest challenge and our biggest fight, right now is being able to put together a really strong week of practice and then put together a really strong game, and then that game, that opponent this week happens to be Hofstra, and that's all that we can control. That's all that matters to us at this point, is just understanding that's in front of us. That's our focus, so when we hit the practice field, we're preparing ourselves, we're preparing for our opponent, and then we go from there. And, you step on the field on game day and put your best out there and see what they have, and, work hard to earn a win. And, from that result, you move on.
We talked in the pregame show on Saturday about Evan Long coming off a Defensive Player of the Week against Fairfield, and you mentioned that Evan has been spectacular at times, but he's had some dips. This past Saturday, was it him? Was it the defense? Was it a combination of both that he only had 7 saves this week?
A little combination. I thought in the first half he played decent. Stony Brook didn't really put the ball on cage as much in the first half as they did in the second. Again, we had more possession time, more possessions. They had less, so they were more efficient, and they did a good job. They were really challenging our guys, and one-on-one matchups we didn't support as well defensively. So we're typically, when we do support, we make a team really have to work the ball to create shot opportunities. Those are more kind of perimeter contested shots. These guys were able to kind of get inside the paint a little bit more, more mid-range shots, and they were doing a good job really challenging Evan with some good, strong overhand, shots and putting it kind of over his left shoulder, and they'd get him to kind of drop down a little bit and get there. I'm sure Evan would say that obviously it wasn't his strongest performance of the year, but we didn't do a good enough job as well in front of him to help him out.
Now, last week you faced Palinetti, who had 45 points in 9 games going into the game. You're not going to see anybody quite like that this week. You guys did a good job on him. I mean, he only scored a couple of goals, and they were late in the game. Unfortunately, they came at a bad time. But you did do a good job against him, and you're not going to face someone as dynamic as him this week with Hofstra. They're a little more spread out.
They are. They definitely have the talent. They might not have that really gunslinger guy. Palinetti almost kind of reminds you a little bit of a Ryan Tierney, who Hofstra did have, and they don't really have that right now. So yeah, there's no doubt we have to obviously pay attention to everybody, just like we did against Stony Brook, and be able to prepare for what we're expecting to see. It's not going to make our job easier because they don't have just one really specific guy, because that didn't make our job easy against Stony Brook. Palinetti was really good, but those other guys were really good too. Matt Anderson, had a great day against us, and we knew he was just as dangerous as a Palinetti if he really got feeling it.
All right, well, the Tigers will take on Hofstra 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. I'll have a call for you at 2:45 on TowsonTigers.com. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin, I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again next week.